So you've probably heard of Bajaj Finance, right? They're an absolute giant in India's financial scene. But have you ever wondered how they got so big? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're diving deep into their latest annual report, not just to look at boring numbers, but to really understand the secrets behind their strategy and their incredible scale. All right, let's jump right in.
And when I say scale, I am not kidding. Get ready for this number: 101.8 million. That's how many customers they have. Let that sink in for a second. Over 100 million people. To give you some perspective, that's more than the entire population of a country like Germany. It's just massive. So the big question is, how on earth do they manage to do that? Well, a huge piece of that puzzle is right here, their super app. And really, calling it just an app doesn't do it justice. It's more like a whole financial universe you can hold in your hand. We're talking loans, credit cards, insurance, investments, you name it. This is their direct line to millions and millions of people, right on their phones. You know, when you combine that incredible reach with such a wide range of products, you get what they are today, a true financial powerhouse in India. So, what exactly is Bajaj Finance? Well, officially, they're the country's largest private sector non-banking financial company, or what you'll often hear called an NBFC. The easiest way to think about it is this. They do a lot of the same stuff as a bank, giving out loans and credit, but they don't have a formal banking license. And that's actually their superpower. It gives them this unique spot in the economy, letting them reach customers and small businesses that the big traditional banks might overlook. But look, their size is only one part of the story. The real secret sauce, the engine that's driving all this incredible growth, is a concept they've built their whole strategy around. They call it FinI. So, FinI, what is it? It's pretty straightforward, really. It's the fusion of finance and artificial intelligence. Now, I know what you're thinking, another corporate buzzword. But for them, it's the real deal. It is their core strategy. They use AI for everything, to figure out what customers actually need, to create financial products tailored just for them, and to really drive that sustainable growth. You can almost think of it as the central brain that powers their entire operation. And okay, does this FinI strategy actually work? Well, the results are kind of staggering. Their assets under management, or AUM, that's the total value of all the assets they're managing, has shot past 416,000 crore rupees. It's a number so big it's hard to even wrap your head around, but what it really shows is the immense amount of trust people have put in them. Okay, so managing a huge pile of money is one thing, but are they actually making money? Oh yeah, absolutely. Their profit after tax came in at nearly 17,000 crore rupees. This proves their model isn't just big, it's incredibly profitable. And it's not like they're slowing down either, not at all. In just the last year, they booked 43.4 million new loans. That number is just wild. It shows you there's incredible demand out there and that they have this powerful customer acquisition machine just humming along. Now, big profits and millions of loans, that's all very impressive. But for any company that lends money, the real test, the thing that separates the good from the great, is the quality of those loans. And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at their gross non-performing assets, or GNPA, compared to the industry average. Bajaj Finance is sitting at less than 1%. The rest of the sector? Over 3 times higher at 3.4%. The takeaway here is so important. They aren't just lending more money, they're lending it smarter than just about anyone else. And hey, let's quickly break down that term, GNPA. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Gross non-performing assets are basically any loans where someone has stopped paying for 90 days or more. So it's a super important health check for any lender. A lower number is always better. It just means more people are paying back what they owe, right on time. Okay, so they have this incredibly strong foundation. The obvious question is, what's next? Where do they go from here? Well, let's take a look at their roadmap for the future. Their plan is both ambitious and super clear. First up, they want to do it all over again. Yeah, acquire the next 100 million customers. Wow. Second, they're really zooming in on micro, small, and medium enterprises, the MSMEs, as their next big growth frontier. Third, they're jumping into green financing for things like solar power and EVs. And finally, and I find this really interesting, in a world full of complex tech, they're making a point to go back to basics with their risk management. It's this perfect blend of thinking huge while also being super careful. But an annual report like this isn't just about the money. It's not all profit and loss. It also gives you a real picture of the company's impact on society, beyond the balance sheet.
And through their social initiatives, they're making a pretty significant impact. Take education, for example. Their programs have reached more than 500,000 people. That's creating real opportunities for the next generation. And that focus on inclusion doesn't stop there. They've also supported nearly 500,000 people with disabilities through various initiatives.
Plus, they're really focused on economic empowerment, supporting almost 18,000 women to find jobs or start their own businesses. And you have to see that this isn't just about charity, right? It's about building stronger, more resilient communities. And when communities are stronger, that creates a healthier economic environment for everybody.
All of these numbers, all these initiatives, they really point to a single clear vision. And it's captured perfectly in this one quote from their report. We began with one purpose: serving the needs of every Indian. It just brings everything, all that scale, all that tech, back down to a simple but really powerful mission.
All right, so let's zoom out for a second and put all the pieces together. What's the big picture we're seeing here?
When you boil it all down, their success really comes down to a few core strengths, which they actually lay out in their own analysis. You've got a diverse mix of products, so they're not putting all their eggs in one basket. They have a huge geographic footprint across all of India. They're technologically adaptable, which is key for that whole FinAI strategy. Then there's their strong brand and solid financial performance. And maybe most importantly, a really robust way of managing debt and risk.
And all of this brings us to one final thought. Bajaj Finance. They're clearly more than just a company that lends money. They're a technology-driven financial ecosystem, one that's become deeply woven into the very fabric of the Indian economy. So the big question I want to leave you with is this. As they push forward with their FinAI strategy, as they go after that next 100 million customers, how are they going to continue to shape the future of lending and really the future of financial inclusion for all of India?